Thank you, Internet. Finally, everything is explained. Oh, hello, and welcome to aritutorsmath. Let's talk about derivatives. Welcome to aritutorsmath. If you look up derivatives on the internet, it says, in mathematics, the derivative quantifies the sensitivity of change of a function's output with respect to its input. If you're like me and you're not into the math jargon, you came to the right place. Let's jump into it. This first graph that we have is y equals 3x. This is a simple one. It's just a straight line. So the way we find a derivative is using the power rule. If you already know what the power rule is and you don't want to sit through this part, jump to this timestamp. So to use the power rule here, what we need to know is that 3x is the same as 3x to the first power. Then what we can do is take that power, the 1, multiply it by the coefficient, the 3, and then subtract 1 from the power. So what that gives us is 1 times 3x to the 0. I took the 1, I multiplied it by the coefficient, and then I subtracted 1 from the exponent, turning it from a 1 into a 0. That is the power rule. So this is equal to 3. And what that tells me is that this graph has a slope of 3. That's all a derivative is. It's just a slope. We probably already knew that this graph had a slope of 3, and that should reassure us that this process is working. Now let's jump into another example that's a little bit trickier. Again, I'm going to be using the power rule. I'm not going to explain it this time. So this has a derivative, f prime of x is equal to 4x plus 1. So what does this mean? If we just said derivatives are a slope, what does it mean to have a slope of 4x plus 1? So let's try figuring out the slope right over here. So that's right around where x is equal to 1. So let's plug in 1 for x. If we do that, we get 4 times 1 plus 1 equals 5. So that means that the slope at this part of the graph, right over here, is 5. Now, let's look back at another spot on the graph. How about at -1? It looks like the slope is a little bit more shallow over here. Obviously, it should be negative. So let's plug in -1. We get 4 times -1 plus 1. And that's equal to -4 plus 1, which is equal to -3. So at this part of the graph, the slope is -3. So when we say f prime of x is equal to 4x plus 1, what we're saying is that we can use this expression to find the slope at any point on the graph. The first example, the slope is 3 the whole time. Anywhere you go on the graph, the slope is 3. It doesn't depend on x, so we don't see an x in the expression. The latter example, we do need an x in the expression of the slope, and that will tell us what the slope is at any point on the graph. If you enjoyed this content, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're looking for private tutoring, contact me at aritutorsmath@gmail.com. Have an awesome day.